Another night in the NBA and another shot to win $25,000 if we can correctly predict 6 games. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. It's our weekly NBA show, and over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, we can win $25,000 if we can correctly predict 6 NBA games, give them the winner and the win margin for all 6 games to take home that $25,000. If nobody can do it, they'll give away a guaranteed $1,000 prize. The group of people that get the most points. 3 points if you can get that winner right, an additional 2 points if you can get the win margin right. Add them all up, get in the top, and take home that $1,000. As always, my stats take into account the last 10 games for each of these opponents. And then also, I went ahead and shared the stats with you guys last week over my shoulder. I'm going to go ahead and do that. One person expressed interest that it was helpful to them, and that's what I'm all about, is helping you guys out. So I don't mind doing it again. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it. First matchup here is the 76ers versus the Cavs. Offensive-wise, it's 76ers all day long. They get more points. They shoot the ball better. They shoot the ball better, extremely better from the three-point percentage, from about 8 percentage points better. So that's, really good. And then turnovers and free throws and points in the paint, it's all relatively the same there. And that's what PITP is, points in the paint. Defensively, this is where the game will even out a little bit. The Cavs, they're really bad offensively. They don't even really get 100 points per game, but defensively is definitely where the Cavs can hang into this game. They're just really good and competitive there on the defensive side. As you can see, points are even, field goal percentage is even, three-point field goal percentage is even. Everything all the way down to points in the paint. It's just relatively even. So the big matchup, or the big mismatch here. Look at that net rating. As we know, net rating is taking your offensive rating, your net rating, and getting the combined average there, or the net rating. And then, it's just massive there for the 76ers. 8.4 in the positive for a negative 7.9 there for the Cavs. That is just unacceptable there. And then we know for the Cavs, they're going to be without Jared Allen. That's obviously probably their second best player. That's going to be the guy that's their only paint presence, whether that's on the offensive side of getting points in the paint or even from a defensive side protecting the rim. And I know, the 76ers still don't have Embiid to maybe punish, the Cavs in the paint without Jared Allen, but they can still get it done with Tobias Harris and then Dwight Howard. If he can just stay on the court for whatever reason on this road trip, man, he just wants to get ejected. Must be some good, nightlife there in whatever cities that they've been traveling to, and he just wants to get out and enjoy the nightlife because he's been getting ejected. If Dwight Howard can just stay in the game and play 48 minutes, I think the 76ers will have the big advantage in this one. Go ahead and give me the 76ers all day long, and they'll win this game by 9 to 10 points. They're just too better off on the offensive side. I'll respect that Cavs defense a little bit and not predict too big of a blowout, but I'm not going to be surprised if this does get to be, a really big blowout. But I'll just say 9 to 10 for this prediction. Next matchup we got here is the Wizards versus the Pistons, and the Pistons are on the back end of a back-to-back. For the offensive wise here, the Wizards, they just play faster and they get more points. Otherwise, it's even. But the Wizards, in them getting more possessions per game, that is what translates, into more points. And as you can see, they're getting about 11 more points per game. But then field goal percentage, you got to give it the edge to the Warriors. There is 4%. 3-point field goal percentage is even. Turnovers is even. Their free throw attempts per game is even. And then points in the paint, that's just how you decide to attack an opponent. So what I look for there is if a team gets a lot of points in the paint versus another team that really gives up a lot of points in the paint. But here, with the Wizards getting 9 more points, if on the defensive side, if the Pistons, they give up a bunch, then I don't really think it's, that much of an advantage there. And defensively, as you can see, it's relatively even. Even the Wizards will give up more points on the defensive side, but that's just a product of them, getting out and playing at a faster pace. But otherwise, field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, turnovers, free throw attempts, it's all relatively the same and even there. And net rating, as you can see with these two clubs, both of them are in the negative, but they're right around each other there, negative 2.6 and negative 2.3. Looks like Bradley Beal, his status is a little bit unknown. I would lean that maybe he's not going to play, but in that being said, we truthfully don't know. But we know Westbrook can also carry the load, so no real big issue there. I like the Wizards big in this game. I'm going to say the Wizards win this game by 13 to 15. I think the Wizards' pace is going to hurt the Pistons on the back end of a back-to-back. This is not a team you want to see on the back end of a back-to-back, a team that plays fast, gets up and down the court really quick. That's going to wear the Pistons out, and over the course of 48 minutes, combined with the Pistons' inability to shoot the ball really well, that's going to lead to a blowout. So that's why I got it 13 to 15 points. The next matchup here is we get the Hornets and the Nets. The Nets, like the Pistons, are on the back end of a back-to-back. Offensively speaking, the Hornets have the advantage from the three-point arc. Otherwise, it's relatively easy. That advantage from three is about 6 percentage points better. But yeah, as you can see, it's relatively even until you get to turnovers. This could be a troubling spot for the Hornets. If they turn the ball over significantly more than what the Nets do, that could get them in trouble because you don't want to get this Nets team easy buckets. So they'll need to cut back on those turnovers and get that discrepancy to be a little bit more even. And otherwise, the Nets can certainly have an advantage there with easy buckets. Defensively, though, you can see it's pretty evenly. Points allowed, field goal percentage allowed, 3-point field goal percentage. Yeah, the Hornets are better defending three, but yeah, the evenness continues on in terms of the turnovers they get, the free throw attempts they allow, and points in the paint. And as you can see, net rating, no real big difference. The Nets do have a positive net rating, but the Hornets aren't too far off of them, only at negative 1.5. For the Nets here, what the big standout is I don't think you're going to get James Harden. We know he came off the court last night with the hamstring injury and missed the fourth quarter last night. With it being the back end of a back-to-back, I'm going to go ahead and predict that the Nets don't play Harden. I can't envision a scenario in which they want to risk that unless the injury's not all that bad and really, he's able to heal within 24 hours. But in making my prediction, it definitely factors in James Harden not playing. I'm going to go ahead and take this Hornets team. They're going to come in rested. Again, the Nets are likely going to be without Harden. They will be able to focus on clamping down Kyrie Irving. The Hornets will win this ball game. I like the Hornets to win this game by 7 to 8 points. Next matchup here is the Warriors versus the Heat. The Heat themselves are on the back end of a back-to-back. For the offensively speaking, the Warriors have the advantage from three and then also just from shooting the ball overall. 3 percentage points better on field goal and 6 percentage points better from the three-point. That's why they get more points. More of their percentage of points come from three than most teams in the NBA. So, yeah, they get more points. Otherwise, it's relatively even there on the offensive side. Defensive side, it's about even. Other than maybe points allowed, it's pretty even there. Field goal percentage is only 2 percentage points better or different. 3-point field goal percentage, is only 1 percentage points different. So the big standout there is maybe the points allowed, but much like the Wizards, how we talk about how they play quick, that's kind of what the Warriors also do play. They take a lot of shots earlier on in the shot clock. If they're making them, great, but if they're missing them, then that'll get the other team an opportunity to, or I guess either way, it'll give the other opportunity, the team to make some buckets. And then you can see net rating. Obviously, it favors the Heat there. The Heat are really good defensively. You're only allowing 105 points per game. That's really good. That's where their net rating really comes into shine, is on that defensive side. I think the Warriors will win this game, though. I've got the Warriors winning this game by 7 to 8 points. All they really need to do is have a good night shooting from three, and I don't mind betting on Curry. You combine that with the Heat on the back end of a back-to-back, I just see that the Warriors can get it done from beyond the arc, man. The Heat will have to counter that with their paint production, whether that's getting points in the paint or grabbing rebounds. That's where the Heat can maybe have their advantage. But go ahead and give me Curry. He's back. He was in the lineup last game. He'll have another good night shooting from the three. So go ahead and give me the Warriors winning this one by 7 to 8 points. Next matchup here is we got the Hawks and the Spurs. The Spurs are also on the back end of a back-to-back. This should be a really good, fascinating game. This, offensively speaking, you can see it's even right there. The points are a little bit more there for the Hawks, but otherwise 48-47 field goal percentage, 37-35, 3-point field goal percentage, turnovers even, free throw attempts dead even, and points in the paint are essentially even. So, yeah, offensive-wise, there's not a whole lot of separation from these teams. Defensive-wise, the Hawks do get an edge. It's not a big major advantage, but yeah, the Hawks do have an edge. They hold their opponents to less field goal percentage, and they hold their opponents to less 3-point field goal percentage, and they're obviously allowing less points, about 7 less points per game. So, yeah, Hawks will get the edge on that defensive side. They'll come in more rested. Net rating, as you can see, big monster advantage there for the Atlanta Hawks, positive 4.5, where it's negative 5.8 there from the Spurs. I like the Hawks in this game. Hawks will win this game by 3 to 4 points. I think this is one where they can get one from the Spurs, being on the road, playing on the back end of a back-to-back. They've got the better defense. They'll clamp down over 48 minutes, and they'll pull one out in the fourth quarter, winning the game by 3 to 4 points. Then the last matchup here is the Nuggets versus the Clippers. This is going to be a really good game. Boy, the Nuggets just look really good after that trade deadline there. But from an offensive standpoint, Nuggets certainly do have the edge. They may be scoring the same amount of points, but from the No, I meant the Clippers have the edge. Sorry, Clippers have the edge. I like the teams that can shoot it from the three better because we know NBA teams, they just jack it up from the three so much more these days than what you've seen, in years past. So, yeah, the Clippers will shoot it better, so that'll give them a little bit more of an edge there from the offensive standpoint. Defensive, besides points allowed, it's relatively even. I mean, field goal percentage is dead even. 3-point field goal percentage allowed is, relatively the same. Turnovers that they're getting is relatively the same. They're allowing the same amount of free throws per game, and then points in the paint is relatively even there. Net rating, it's 4.8 positive for the Nuggets and positive 8.4 there for the Clippers. But for the Clippers here, what you're not going to get, and that's what's going to matter, I think, in this game, is you're not going to get Paul George, you're not going to get Beverly, you're not going to get Ibaka, and you're not going to get Rondo, which Rondo really hasn't factored in the team since the trade deadline, so you could swap Rondo out for Lou Williams because that's basically who you're not going to get because Rondo just hasn't featured for the Clippers yet. But those are four big names that are not going to be involved for the Clippers. I think with the Nuggets, they're going to actually be able to do this. I like the Nuggets to win this game by 5-6. The Clippers will certainly keep it close. I'm not going to be too surprised if they win that game, but I just think what the Nuggets have done, they're rolling with confidence after the trade deadline, and you can see it in their brand of basketball. Just look at what they've done, since they've, added those pieces in Aaron Gordon and even McGee, the backup center. He's really made that second unit a lot stronger there. So like what the Nuggets are doing, rolling with confidence, they're going to be able to take advantage of a little bit of a depleted Clippers team. Go ahead and give me the Nuggets winning this game by 5-6. And that's how I'm going to fill up my chances to win $25,000 on tonight's NBA slate. Go ahead and hit the like button if I've been of help to you. And as always, good luck on your picks, and I'll see you on the next contest. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.